Hi everyone, hopefully everyone can hear me and you can see what's going on the screen. I'm doing a very impromptu live stream, so bear with me. I'm just going to do a quick live stream to quickly show you the features of my new ability system series that is starting this week for patrons. Well, I think this week we'll see how we get on with that. So I thought I'd show you the system in its features, as well as the some a brief showing you how it works and how you add more abilities to it. So first things first, this system does not use the plugin of the gameplay ability plugin. It's all new, all my own stuff, and it's all blueprint based. And it should be fairly simple and easy to add more abilities to it as you see fit. So let's do a quick demonstration of this in action. It will be worth noting that gold, platinum and diamond patrons will get the project files for this exact thing you're seeing right now tomorrow. Okay, so those people can get access to the project files, download it, start using it, tweaking it, adding things to it, whatever they like to do with it. Okay, without further ado, let's have a look at it. So first things first, you can see we've got an action bar set up here, and we've got a health bar, mana bar, and I've got a couple of test dummies here. So first things first, there's targeting in this one, so I can select my targets, and if I click off of it, I'll deselect it. Okay, so that's the first thing we've got. Next we've got is our spellbook. So I can open up my spellbook here, and it shows me my available spells the player has, and I can click and drag these onto my action bar, whichever order I like, however I like them. I can put one over there, I can put that one there, wherever I want. Okay, and I can close my spellbook. I've then got these 4 types of abilities. Now I've kind of simmered it down to like 4 ability types. Okay, so there's a projectile, there's a buff, an AoE, and a debuff. And as you can see, there's tooltips when you hover over each one, explain what they do, how much they cost, and their name. So let's showcase each one of these. So the fireball one, you have to have a target, and if I shoot the fireball, press animation, cast bar, and then shoots. Yeah. If I've got it selected as well, you can see it's damaged its health. If I go over here to this one, I can demonstrate that. Okay, so that's the fireball. Pretty simple. You can also interrupt it by moving, and it interrupts it, and doesn't cost you any mana to interrupt it. Okay. Next we've got as a buff, and if I hit the buff, this one increases my armor by 15%, whereas my health it will increase. So if I click on this, play an animation, I get a little buff in the corner, and you can see my health has increased. Okay. So, and that lasts for a little bit of time, and you can see it has a little time bar underneath the buff, indicating when it's going to run out. Next, we've got the AoE. So the AoE here is Holy Ground, which heals any players inside of it. So if I cast this, animates, and there we have our Holy Ground. Okay, and to showcase the healing of this, I'm going to cast my buff and cast my AoE, and you should see my health increase. And when it resets, it recaps it to the top full amount. So bear with me. So next we've got is the debuff. Okay, so I've got a curse here. I've got his dummy selected over here. I can play this curse, give a curse to him. Again, showcasing the debuff. This is going to take away damage from the dummy over a set amount of time until it's 10 seconds it lasts, and then off it goes. Now it's important to note as well, if I've got a buff, okay, so it tick down, if I shoot the buff again, it won't apply a different one, it will just reset the timer. And the same goes for the debuff. I play that, and I can play that again to reset it. The only thing I haven't done yet on this one, which I'll do tomorrow before I upload the project files, is set up the timer for our debuff icon here. Okay. And likewise, you can just add, as I said, you can easily add more abilities to this. So first thing, let's go through how this actually works and how you add more abilities to it. Because that was my goal with it, is to make it so it's really easy for you to add your own abilities to it. So let's showcase how that works. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the spellbook. So the ability system works through the spellbook. And this is an actor component. And all it's doing is basically storing what buffs, debuffs, and spells they have available to them. So if I want to go and add more spells to the player, I can open up the player character, click on the spellbook, and I just add available spells to it. So I can add another one and give it another fireball. I've only got 4, so do another fireball. Compile, play, and there's the 5th fireball. And you can add as many as you like. Okay. So what you could do is set this up in tandem with, say, a skill tree, and the skill tree will unlock spells and add spells to that spellbook. Totally up to you how you want to give spells to the player. Could be pickups, could be a skill tree, a leveling up system, whatever you like. So next we've got is actually how you create the spells. So as I said, the spells come in 4 types. You've got AoE, buff, debuff, projectiles, and they all work from parenting. So if I want to add a fireball, so I've got a fireball here, I can open it up, and that's all the code there is that you need to do for this fireball in this case. So fireballs, we have to give it, we can give it an effect. So I've got a particle system for a fireball, and I can set up its movement, so I can set up its speed and so forth. Okay, and you can kind of customize this quite well. So you can go to the functions over here and override, and you'll see you can override the cast ability, activate ability, interrupt cast, begin casting, all these ones. Okay. So if you want to add stuff to that code later, you can do. But by and large, you're doing basic stuff like this. So all this fun is doing is just spawning that explosion and applying damage to wherever it hits. Fireball, really simple. Important to note about the fireball, if I play it, let's just add it to my thing. If I go up here, for example, select a dummy, and then shoot it, it'll rotate the player towards the dummy, so they're always going to go towards the dummy. Yeah, always rotates towards the target. Yeah. So that's the fireball. The other ones are a bit more involved, but let's have a look. So the AoE. So AoE is just this. So on activate ability, I've just told it to make it visible. The decal, which is on the floor, which is the circle you see appeared. So what you're doing is like the visual stuff. So what does it look like in particular, and how and what does it do? That's all you're really setting up in each of the abilities. So this is handling what it looks like. We've got a lifespan of it. This is so we can tell it to disappear, and set timer by event. So this timer is tick spell. So this tick spell is basically going to tell it to tick over time, getting all the actors in range and healing them. To heal them, I just do apply damage and do a negative value, and it heals them. And if I go into my buffs and debuffs are probably the most complicated ones. But essentially, you have in this one you have 2 events. You have apply buff, and then you have clear buff. So when it applies the buff, it does this thing. So it increases the player's health, and update health. Clear buff resets the player's health back to where it was, and yeah, that's it. Pretty simple. And finally, the debuffs. Again, all you're doing is handling here what it does, what it looks like. So here I'm told it to activate the particle effect on activate ability and set a target. I'm trying to slim this down even more, so you may not have to do that. And then tick debuff, what's it going to do on each tick of the debuff. And you can customize it. So if I go to the class defaults, I can tell it the debuff tick to be more than 2 seconds if I want it to be. I can tell it to be a different lifespan, debuff name, I'll pop all that in. If you want the debuff name to be different from the details you have here, you can customize all those settings here. So I can choose what icon, the cooldown, the cast time, the description and name, and that's true for all of them. I can indicate whether it's interruptible, requires target, and so forth. So, show you an example. If I go into my fireball, I can then change the cast time from 3 seconds to 1 second, and that's it. That's what I have to do, and it'll automatically fix the animation to be appropriate. Like that. See? So the animation loops the holding pattern for the cast, so you don't have to worry about that. Likewise, I can make it so there's no cast time. Type in 0, and it'll just cast. Yeah. Obviously, it won't let you do it if there's mana. Oh, and there's cooldown, as you can see here. I can't do it again until the cooldown stopped. And stop. Okay. And yeah, that's it. So I'll just have a look at chat. Sorry, it's on my phone, the chat, because I say I've done this very quickly. Do I know the way to pause the game without pausing in-game audio? Off the top of my head, I can't remember. Maybe setting it in the game instance. Maybe setting on the audio. I can't remember now. Check the audio settings. There may be an option for keeping it playing in whilst paused. David, why is it better than UE4 ability system? So the UE4 ability system is relies heavily on C++. Last I looked at anyway, and this is all blueprint based. So people might find it a bit easier, maybe to work with, a bit nicer to work with, maybe. But let's say this is all tied together, the UI and everything. It works. It just works with all the UI, with the drag and drop and everything else. It just works. So yeah, so it's quite fully featured, this one. Yeah. So what's going to happen is this series is going to be Patreon only for quite some time, I think, probably until end of February. As I said, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond patrons will get the project files for what you see here tomorrow. I'm going to tie up a couple more things, and yeah, and that's it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little preview into the Ability System series, and hopefully you're looking forward to making this thing and using it and so forth. So it's quite, and I say I'm designed it to be expandable. Okay, so you can always add more abilities. Abdudi, do you think I'll make number buttons? Yeah, could do. I'll see if I can add that in tomorrow before I upload it, and I'll make it work with the number of buttons on the keyboard if you want. That shouldn't be too difficult. I'll add that in. Any other things people think that's missing? So you can also drag loads. I was thinking also of making these draggable as well, so you can drag them off and lose them. But I don't know. Might just leave it as is. Yeah. So I'm quite proud of the system. It seems quite nice. So there's quite a lot set up. It'll be probably quite a large number of videos tutorializing it. But yeah, it should hopefully be straightforward enough. Once you've gone through it and explained through it, you can make tweaks and changes however you like. Really, it's quite simple. Anyway, that would do it for tonight. I've got work in the morning, so thanks for popping by and watching. And hopefully you're looking forward to this system series. And remember, if you want to become a gold patron on patreon.com/RyanEley, you get access to the project files tomorrow. That is tomorrow, as in the 17th of January 2020. So thanks very much everyone for watching, and I'll see you in a couple of nights' time for our live stream covering the Witcher systems we looked at last week. So see you next time. And thanks for watching. Bye.